Hello, everyone. So I do have a word here. I literally just got it, so I fully don't get the picture, but I want to move with the spirit right now, and so let's get into it. So I'm in Luke 9:54. It says, "When the disciples James and John saw this, they asked, 'Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven to destroy them?' But Jesus turned and rebuked them. Then he and his disciples went into another village." So this got me wondering. I was like, all right, you rebuked them in this scenario. Um, what made this different with Elijah, right? So, Holy Spirit led me because I don't, like me personally, I don't know where everything is in the Bible, but I kept hearing 12, 12, 12, 12. So, I went to First King and no. It's sec um Second King chapter 1. Yeah. And I went straight to 12, right? And it says, "If I'm a man of God," Elijah replied, "may fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50 men." And then the fire of God fell from heaven and consumed him and his 50 men. I was like, okay, let's go back up because I need to understand the context. Like, why was this okay? So, just so you have a little bit of understanding, the king is ill and he wants to know, like, is this going to be like an injury I'm going to have forever? So he sends his men to go talk to another deity. And on their way there, Elijah stops them and was like, "Why are you talking to other gods? Yeah, you're basically going to die. Go ahead and tell the king that." So the messengers went back and told the king that, and he was like, "Who told you this?" And they like started describing the man. He was like, "Oh, you talking about that prophet Elijah." So he said, "Then he sent to Elijah a captain with his company of 50 men. The captain went up to Elijah, who was sitting at the top of a hill, and said to him, Man of God, the king says, come down." So they were very clear. They're like, "We recognize you're a man of God, but the king said, come down." Okay? So Elijah replied to the captain, "If I am a man of God, may fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50." Then the fire fell from heaven and consumed the captain and his men. At this, the king sent to Elijah another captain with 50 men. The captain said to him, "Man of God." So again, I recognize you're a man of God. This is what the king says: "Come down at once." And then that goes back to verse 12 that I just read. He was like, "Okay, I'm a man of God. Let fire run down." Okay. So the king sent a third captain with his 50 men. This third captain went up. So them other guys, they just showed up. "Yo, man of God, just so you're aware, the king said come down." That's what the other ones did. But this one, right? This third captain not only was doing his job, but he went up and fell on his knees before Elijah. "Man of God," he begged, "please have respect for my life and the lives of these 50 men, your servants. See, fire has fallen from heaven and consumed the first two captains and their men, but now have respect for my life." Okay. The angel of the Lord said to Elijah, "Go down with him. Do not be afraid of him." So Elijah got up and went down with him to the king. And so now I see the difference, right? Elijah was in the presence of God because back then the way the prophets were really the only way you could really hear from God, right? Back then. So we have Holy Spirit now. So if you really want to know, what's going on, what's happening, you can literally get that. You can literally plug into that, right? You can plug in and get all the news that you want. Like, what's about to happen, what's going on, Holy Spirit, like what God want to release to me today, right? You can do that. But back then you had to utilize the prophets, and the prophets would literally be in the presence of God. So the difference here, right, is they knew that they were talking to a man of God in the presence of God and was still demanding you come down and do what the king says. Whereas this last group, he fell to his face. He was trembling. He had fear and trembling, right? Within God's presence, please don't do this, right? Just please help me fulfill my assignment, all right? I was sent here by the king to do this. And I just want to get the assignment done. I'm not trying to die today. And so what the Lord was trying to say here was that it's important that y'all have the fear of God in you. When you're trying to make requests, you need to have the fear of God, okay? You need to fall on your knees. Like this captain, this is a captain, right? Not only was he begging, well, first, he went up the mountain, right? So he went up. He was like, you know what? I'm not about to stand down here and yell at you. I'm going to go up. He went up. He fell on his knees, okay? And then he begged. And he did it gracefully. He was like, look, I got a job. I really need you to help me get this done. Like, I recognize. And not only did he do it, he begged and did it with respect, but he also said, your servant. And I don't think at that point in time he was literally talking to Elijah. He was talking to God. And God answered his prayers. You cannot try to operate in what is, thank you, Holy Spirit, what is the demand of man. You need to operate what God demands, right? And the beautiful thing is what man demanded, God will still honor that commitment that you had to complete. But you got to do it in the right way. You can't just operate in the flesh. Like, you have to operate God in a godly manner. Even in this world that we're in. He did not just ignore what the king requested and was like, you know what? We just about to sit here and protect Elijah, and like if the king wanna, buck up, we'll be your mini army, and we got you. That's not what he did. He still honored what was his job, what was required of him, but the way he went about it was in a godly manner. It was out of respect. So, yeah.